Pranakasha livestream.
Hey folks, it's Matt at Pranakasha Productions. Today to give you another Gabanja update, and this is a special show because we're going to be talking with Emmanuel Balo, one of the founders of Gabanja Volunteer Program, and especially we're here just to learn a bit about his life story, like what brought him to become so involved in this organization and what he sees for himself and for the future.
Okay, thank you so much, Uncle Matt, for giving me such a time to come on here today and see how best I can be able to give my life story to the world. You know, I was wanted to do this, but I think that this is the time that I come out on this big platform so that viewers across the world, supporters of Gabanja International Volunteer Program, want to know who I am and what enthused me to come aboard with such big dreams that today we are rendering assistance to many Liberians in Liberia. And not just that, but anticipating in the near years to come that we will be able to render assistance to millions of Africans within Africa. Well, I'm Emmanuel Balo. I was born to the union of Mr. and Mistress Balo. My father's name was James Balo, and my mother's name was Lovetta Balo. And we are three: Emmanuel Balo, Joseph Balo, and that of Matthew Stanley Balo. He was then called first Stanley Balo. But from the intervention of Uncle Matt, so I and my grandmom, I confronted her about it. She said, but then it's better that this kid be Matt's own kid so that his name will be bear on him. So he's Matthew Balo, and I got the pictures here. I'm going to be showcasing this picture of the three of us. And when I was coming out as a little boy, my father and mother was not really happy. You understand what I mean? I was much younger when my father left our mother. And I became the breadwinner of the home. My father got married to my mother legally. And in Africa, when a man got married to a woman, that woman become a slave because, well, the ratio defined the discrimination against women and men. The gender equality is not being taken serious in Africa. So my mother is not an educated woman. She have no knowledge to formal education. My mother only depends on my father as the source of income. So when my father left her, I and my little brother Joseph, who were next to me, she was pregnant for Stanley, which is now called Matthew. You understand? When he left her. So it was my grandmom who that used to render assistance to us. When it came out time, she got angry with my mother. Why is it that she must take that trench by marrying my father? And my father never used to have any kind of regard for my grandmom. So it been a serious family conflict. So all my grandma could do at that time was to just condone the pain because it was her daughter and we are young on her daughter. And at the same time, she was pregnant for Stanley, which is now called Matthew. So she took me and then she used to do all the town business. At that time, she was now older compared to now. When she go all the time, I my grandfather who passed off last year used to be home, and then I would go and sell all around. Sometimes she brings some those up interior food, plantain, banana, potatoes, and then get it in a waiter. This is a true life story I'm sharing with
Right.
you all today.
And
I'll move around.
this grandma is your grandma Julia, right?
Julia, yes,
Okay.
absolutely, she is. It's
Okay.
my grandmother from my own side. I used to go and then sell the potatoes, cassava. So when I was doing all of this, I was not in school. But my grandmother kept running because she needed me in school. She born 5 children, and my mother is the first
Oh.
child among the 5. So from my mother, it is my auntie who got a lay hand, who that is potent enough that can be able to render assistance. But due to cruel-minded behavior that she exhibits, she refused to share with others. So my grandmother took me, and then when she used to go out of town, when she come, I would sell. And I've been one case seeing my friends in school that really wanted to go to school. That's why I'm less privileged, but I needed education because I do believe with education, one day my story will change and I will be the breadwinner to the family that they wish that I can be a better giver to everyone. And not just to my family, but to other less privileged in Liberia and in Africa, like the kind of situation that I undergoes at the time. So my grandmom fought how to persuade her second daughter, which is Nancy Jones. She spoke with Nancy Jones, and it is Nancy Jones now today that is cooking for the kids. She's part of the team,
Oh, okay. Right.
part
Right.
of the team. She will be getting married the April, the second Sunday in April.
Oh, she's getting
You
married in
understand?
April?
Yes. She'll be getting married in April. It was to be last month when I told you, but
Okay.
due to some other inconvenience, they postponed it. So they gave
Congratulations.
Leo the communication, and then he even disbursed it with every one of the staff. So we'll be wearing the lapper and then see how best we can embrace her program.
Oh, so the
So
whole
she's,
staff is going to be at the wedding.
yeah, the whole staff is going to be at the wedding.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Going to be to identify with her. That's
Okay.
our means of showing solidarity.
Great.
She's my biological auntie. You
Mhm.
understand?
Mhm.
But she refused to take me as her own because in Africa there's a mentality that people got that if they help you, you are not their own child or you are not their biological sons or daughter. They
Mhm.
do believe that if you reach out in the wild society, you will help them, but you not help them based on their expectation. They won't be like white men who will even adapt you that you have no link with, but he will treat you as his own, love you so that when you get up there, you will not forget about him. So my grandma persuaded her, talked to her so that I can come in maneuver and see how best I can go to school. So she
Oh, okay.
said,
So previously you didn't live in Monrovia?
yeah, I was not living in maneuver. I was in the rural part of Liberia.
Rural, like in a village.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So when my grandma persuaded her, and then she said, if Emmanuel comes in town, because it is your house I'm living in. So Emmanuel is not going to be under my jurisdiction. I'm not the one that's going to be the guardians for Emmanuel. At that time, I was like 9 years old when I started primary school. I never sat in any kind of uh, primary one, primary two. You understand?
Okay. So you moved in with your grandma when you were 9 years old? That's
I,
what you're saying?
I was much little when my grandma took me from my mother because I'm not really used to even my mother. It is my grandmom that reared me up after my father left us.
So how old were you when you moved in with your grandma?
When I was with my grandmom, I was like 4 years old.
4 years old. Okay.
I was like 4 years old.
Okay. So she pretty much provided the role of being your mother then. As-
Absolutely.
Yeah, as far
That's
as
why
from your point of view.
even up to present, she always cares about me.
Okay.
Anything that bother me, it plays on us a lot. She worries because she really proved that mother to love. So what happened that my auntie in Tanya, the house that I'm in right now, that Leo did the photograph of, and then send you those pictures as
Mm-hmm.
evidence so
Right.
you can see what I'm lifting. That is my
Joseph, you're
grandma,
talking about Joseph Leo, right?
Joseph Leo. Good. That is
Yeah.
my grandmom's house. That is the house that my aunt lived in
Mm-hmm.
before then. You understand? Which is Nancy Jones.
Nancy
So
Jones, right?
she said that if Emmanuel going to come here, I'm not going to be the caretaker of Emmanuel.
Oh,
Since this is
okay. So are you saying like now that Nancy's getting married, she's moving into her husband's house? Is
yes, absolutely.
okay.
She got married, so her husband going to be taking her away.
So is she going to sell her old house? Is that the plan or something? Or
Oh, she don't have house. We all stay in her mother house, which is my grandmom.
oh, okay. So that was a room in your grandma's house.
So sure, but
Okay, I
my
see.
mother is in the rural part of Liberia,
Okay.
which is Lovetta Jones
Oh,
for
that
short.
whole place is in the. It's not in Monrovia. It's in the village.
Under the mango tree is in Monivia. Where we went, where they gave us the land, that
Uh-huh.
is not a Monivia, that is the village.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's just the town is called Trouble Town.
Okay.
Trouble Town, that was the land that she donated to us
For the office or for the school?
for the school.
Oh, the
For the
school
school,
land.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
But the office land was somewhere else, right? It was in Monrovia, right?
It's in Monivia, yes, it's in Monivia. And what I'm speaking from right now, I'm in Monivia. You understand? Not far
Okay.
from the University of Liberia.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, I don't want to get you off track, so go ahead.
no problem. So when the woman took my bag and then brought me there, she said, "This is the room and this is the house. I'm just here as a caretaker," which was Nancy speaking now. I'm here as a caretaker. So if Emmanuel going to come here, my children, ones who call, who going to give.
Oh, blast it. We lost the connection. Come on, internet.
him
You
food.
can.
Once you have an assistant, you can see how they send his school.
So Emmanuel, I lost you for about a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Might have to back up a
So
tad.
okay. So as I was saying, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. So she said that whatsoever assistance that we can render to him, we're going to render to him. But I'm not going to be as a parent or guardian for him because Emmanuel's mother is my elder sister, and I expect her to do better. You understand? And
Darn it. The internet
she
gremlins
fails
are
to
getting.
realize that her sister bothering me. I don't know.
I lost you again. I lost the last 30 seconds of what you said got garbled.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry.
Let me rephrase what I stated. So she failed to realize that it was my mom who that was the breadwinner with my grandmom. So she never had that time to go to school because there were war fighting in Liberia. You understand? And the war that were fighting in Liberia, there was no means for people to go to school in Liberia because there was no peace and stability. You only go to school out of Liberia, whether you're in America or in Europe. And those people, children who are rooting today in Liberia, these are children who acquired their education from outside of Liberia,
Okay.
the way Francis are now. Once Francis is educated, he come to Liberia, he can become president if the people voting based on what he did for them. That's the case with my mother. So
Okay.
they've been traumatized because of the war. So I don't take that against her. So my auntie never wanted me to be in the house where she is right now, that she come and get married to be living and going to her husband's house. So my grandma take me there forcefully, and I started school at the Moniville Elementary Demonstration School, where Matthew Balo and some of the kids are on scholarship.
Great.
I started that school from first grade to sixth grade, and when I started that school, it was the only time my grandma paid school fees. I don't know because I'm a less privileged, so God been doing a great thing, provide that wisdom. I always do my best in all of my subjects. So the principal used to like me. For that reason, I was on the scholarship.
What was your favorite subject?
My favorite subject was history.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, history.
Was that
Because
world history or Liberian or European or
Uh,
African or?
it's a world history because we studied both African history.
Mm-hmm.
We studied that of the Europe Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So we studied both all of this history, and then mainly we focus on Africa because there's a examination that they gave called West African Council Examination Weiss, where we
Mm-hmm.
go for a national test. Once you pass that test, which means you are fit to go to college.
Right.
So when I graduated from Orville Elementary Demonstration School, there was no money for me to go in the junior high school. So what I did was I did a communication. I wrote for the scholarship, and there was a test given me. By the help of God, I was successful, and that scholarship was given to me. Throughout my education, I've been on a scholarship even up to present day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful to God. So when my mother gave birth at that time, I was in the 9th grade with Matthew Balo. You understand? I was in the 9th grade at that time. So my education, there was no way to crumble my education to go back to her. Things were very difficult. And my grandmother got seriously sick. You understand? So it then a difficulty to the extent that from school I would come and then go see her. My auntie never used to even give me food, never want to usher me in the house. I slept on the street many days.
Wow.
Joseph can bear me witness.
Hmm.
Francis can even bear me witness.
Now, how old
Most
were you
often,
when you were sleeping on the street?
I was around like 10 years old to 11
Wow.
years old during President Ellen Johnson's salute time.
Huh.
So I got an incredible story. I
Wow.
got
And
it.
so both your grandma and your auntie knew that you were sleeping on the street?
My grandmom never, my grandmom never knew that I was sleeping on the street. You understand?
Okay.
But my auntie knew that. So all
And
she could do is that to hear the information from my grandmom. She always feel infurious when she sees me around because she believes that I got a bright future, but she never cares about that. All she thought of, she's not responsible for my responsibility for my domestic needs.
okay.
So I used to go sell. They even make me go in the garage where I got a chopping mark. See my hands, I got a chopping mark and what a dog bat me. Yeah, I don't know whether you can see it.
Yeah, I
See the
can't really
dog?
see it. A dog bit you.
Yeah, a dog bit me before. See the
Okay.
mark? Can you
Oh
see
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Can you see
Yeah, that's
it?
pretty bad.
So at that time, I was in the garage because due to the hardship, I never wanted to get off school. So I went the called the Mandingos, and they are into mechanic work. You understand? Engineering. So the
Okay.
fix car, the
Okay,
repair
right.
engine. So when I talked to him, he said, "Okay, good. Since this is your story, you can be in the garage. After then, you go home." So sometimes I will go to the work, carry the spanner. Sometimes as the working, I'm with them. I was much younger on the car. After then, when I'm going home, he gave me sometime like 70 Liberian dollars to find food, sometimes 500. They don't take us serious because they do believe that we are working. We want to learn. So they are not paying me because they were providing expertise to me. You
Okay.
understand?
Sort of like an
So
internship.
exactly.
Yeah.
So after job, I will come home and then see how best I take baths. Most often, I don't even put water on my skin. I don't take bath. I will lay outside on the principal street at Capitol Bypass, where the security sit normally. I will be sitting there with them. And when it is 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock p.m., At that time, no one is on the street. You find only few cars are moving.
Okay.
So I will be beside the security, sleep before store. Many times I slept in keke when people park their keke for the security to look at it. I slept at car parking lots before, parking lots. I slept at stores before the old man came to town. And when she heard all of those information, she felt so bad about my auntie. And all of this happened because of a reason. You know, yes, it's so painful, which of course sometimes I don't even want to talk of. Used to sleep, mosquito bites me many times, get malaria, but I never used to get sick because of the condition I'm undergoing.
Right, you didn't get sick because so you did you actually
I
get
did not get
malaria?
sick at all. I did not get sick, but whenever I used to urinate, my urine used to be yellow.
Right.
So,
So
so
that
what happened?
would indicate that you actually had malaria,
Yes, that's a clear indication that I already have malaria.
but that was
But
the
I
only
never used to.
symptom for you. For some
Sure,
reason, your body was
sure,
able to handle it.
sure.
Okay.
You know, so many of them, I'll wake up and then see how best I can get around some of my classmates because I'm smart. So they will give me their bucket and then take bath, buy food or eat together. I go to school. So I prioritize my education. I used to go to school. From school, I moved to the garage where I was learning auto mechanic.
Okay.
You understand? So from there, the boss man will give me like 70 Liberian dollars to find food. I will take that money. It is not sufficient, but I will use it and see how best I can come at the bypass because I was not sleeping at my auntie area anymore because there was no care. It almost like I was on my own.
Okay.
You understand?
And
So
now, how
that's
old
the
were
kind
you?
of going through. Uh,
How old were you at this time?
at this time, I was like 11 to 12 years now.
Still pretty young.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, so these are some of the things many times at night when I'm sitting with those security people, when I'm studying, I lost focus. But there is the man who always used to be there talking to me. He's an elderly person. He will always tell me, my son, every successful man have a success story.
A
Do not give,
success story. Is that what you said?
yeah, every successful man must have a success story.
Every successful man must have a successful story, a success story.
A
Okay.
success story.
Yeah.
So that always needs to be his thought. And I
Okay.
used to contemplate one of these things. He used to sell me down like his son. He never used to take me to his house to sleep with him because he and his family live together.
Right.
So all he could do many as time indicate me to other people, showcase me to them. People
Right.
gave me some small things.
Who
So
was this
when I
person?
started,
What was this person's name?
his name is Francis Zeze. He's a Loma man.
Okay, so we haven't met him on any Gabanja shows yet, right?
Yeah. You have not yet appeared on Gabanja show. But what
Okay.
I'm going to do, sure.
Okay.
He's an elderly person, and they are about four that bear with me. You
Okay.
understand? So he always needs to conscientize me, sell me down, talk to me like his kid.
Mm-hmm.
Do not give up. This all part of life. I will say,
Great.
wow. Right now, I can't stand it, uncle, because there is no father. They say, why is your father? I said, my father is alive. Even up to present, he's alive, but I don't know why he's ah.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Because you haven't
So
seen
he
your
said,
real father ever
what can
since
I study?
you were 4 years old, right?
Yes, I have not seen him yet.
Okay.
I have not seen, and he's not thinking of finding us. We don't know whether he's still alive or not,
Yeah.
or whether he's out of Liberia. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the father for my two brothers. They don't know their father,
Mm-hmm.
only their mother.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So I am the father right now.
Does she talk about him at all?
My mother tells all the story. And for them, they are young, but for me, I understand it well because I'm not at them. I got more knowledge when it comes to them.
Mm-hmm.
So he talked to me and I take his advice. So many a time whenever I'm around the security to the store and then take my books, study after study, this been playing on my mind to give back to the less privileged people. I start to stand strong like man. When I see my condition going to school with bus shoe, no food to eat, I will have to go sometime. Boss people rock. You see me? Can you see me?
Barely. That's you?
Yeah, that's me. I
Okay.
boss rock for money. Yeah, let me try to brighten it so you can see what
So
I'm
you're
talking about.
doing what for money?
I need to boss rock, crush rock for
Oh,
money.
crush rocks. Okay. I see, yeah.
So when I do that, clean people place, I, my friends, you all will find us. So what I think of is that what I'm doing, if God bless me when I get a little money, to set up a little non-profit program that I'll be out there as I selling my story to the world.
Mm-hmm.
People will see it necessary to help, that I can be the help to many people like me from
Mm-hmm.
the less privileged class.
Right.
That's how I came about with Gabanja International Volunteer Program.
Great.
It wasn't an easy thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started Gabanja International Volunteer Program, I started with my classmates. We all graduated from Moniville Elementary Domus Christian School.
Okay.
Many of them came in because I never had money, while I did not come from a wealthy background or wealthy family. So they wanted instant reward. They
Right.
decided to.
Though it seems like, I mean, but your grandma, if she had a farm and she has a house and stuff, so she's not destitute. So she had some wealth, right?
Yes,
So you
yes.
do have some financial backing there from your grandma.
My grandmom have some wealth because in Africa, once you got land, you got money. But those lands, she preserved them. These are all preserved land. Even the one the house in.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what she's trying to do is to turn over all of the documentation in my name. You
Let me ask you a
understand?
question. So, I mean, does she still grow farm and does she still grow crops on some of her land and sell it in the market like she used to?
Right now, she's old, so she's not doing it because her legs give her problem.
Uh-huh.
You understand? There's a signal called rheumatism.
Right. Well, okay. So how about some Gabanja volunteers? Could some of them help her till the land and make some money off it? Put it to good
No,
use?
no. Many of Gabanja volunteers, they are not into that right now because, as you carry people for farming, there should be a substantial fundings that you can be able to sustain them.
Uh-huh.
So it was my grandmom and granddad that used to do that because he worked with Liberian government doing turbo time, doing tailor time.
Right.
So as government pay him, he used to use his personal funds to empower people to see
Right.
how best to farm for them.
Okay, so let me ask a question. So this farmland they had, were they able to work the land, just the two of them, or did they still have people help them work the land to grow the crops?
Uh, well, now my grandfather is not alive. He died last year.
Right.
He died last year. So it is my grandmom who is alive, and her one are the caretaker right now. She's hardly go on the farm because she's suffering from a sickness called rheumatism, a chronic
Right.
cold within her joint.
Oh yeah,
So
okay.
she's not active again and she aged. See.
Right.
So what she did with that land, that's the acres of land. So she gave her one lot out of that land
How many
for us
acres did you say?
to have. There's a 4 acres of land.
4 acres. Okay.
4 acres.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's I mean,
Then
so
she got
that's not a huge amount of farmland. I mean, that might be enough for one
absolutely
person.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. It's not huge.
Yeah.
Just one person. Almost like a football field.
Yeah. Okay.
So what she did, she gave me one log there, not me specifically, but to the institution to have a school building erectment. And the land in Monroeville, which is the capital city where we are, she decided to give us a parcel of that land so that we can be able to have our office building erected.
So
And
here's a question. Sorry, I'm trying not to get you off track, but like suppose, I mean, what comes to mind is you've got this land, you could potentially, would part of the kids' education be to learn modern farming techniques? Like could that land be used to show kids how to make a garden or grow crops in the best way? Something like that, some kind of educational thing?
Sure, because I can do all of that. I was with my grandmom and I used to go on the farm usually with them. Whenever they was doing it, I used to be present and we do it together.
Right.
So this is the reason I decided to come on here. The viewer across the world, I know that this story is touching, that they can be involved with. And I'm sharing this story with two people to know who I am. So the land is available. We pray in the long range to see how best that Gabanja can have her own farm.
Okay.
The agricultural sectors. But right now, reason why we are not doing anything to move forward because we do not have a consistent funding. You understand? Sure. So we only have one donors, and which is you. So we are not want to be so anxious and then do this at the same time. We won't achieve anything.
Right.
So we just do it little by little.
Right. So is this farm, it's 4 acres of farmland, it's just sitting there doing nothing right now?
Right now, people can just go and then plant their garden. She have no problem with it.
Oh, okay.
Before they turn like forest, you know.
Oh, so okay, well there's an idea. So it could be like a community farmland. Like could she potentially just rent out? I mean, things people do that where like they'll rent out farmland to farmers and then the farmers just pay rent for the land and then they get to keep the crops, but then they also pay whoever owns, whatever the fee is. Has you ever thought of doing something like that?
No, it is not in Monroeville. In Monroeville, where people do that, like in Monroeville are those bush area, people do that, but where the land is in the village. So people in Liberia, you have to be skeptical doing business with them. There's this perception, right? Let me say this.
Okay.
Liberian men, they are natural worthy. If you try to give them your property or try to bring them within your institution, they can try to pull you off track. They can try to do everything in their power once they got money and then take it from you. Or they got bars knowledge and then take it from you. That's the true identity of a Liberian African man.
Okay.
So all she do is to preserve them and then see how best to have these documents in my name. That's why she fought it.
So right now on the land, some people are using it just to grow their own gardens.
Just to grow their own crops.
Okay, well that's actually kind of good. I mean, that you could potentially have that be like the Gabanja community farm project or something like that.
Sure, we will start that because that's their own sustaining farming initiative that they are doing. So they are almost like a caretaker for the land.
One more question. So does this land require a lot of water for irrigation, or is it able to just to work just from the rainfall?
It's a swampy area, so it needs no water to water garden.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a swampy land. Yeah, it pull out its own water. The place is water. I just wish that you come in Liberia one day so we can talk. So you can see all of what I've been talking about.
Yeah. Well, you can always take pictures or take some videos of it. So, yeah, I mean, see, that might be kind of that might be a useful project is to do something useful with that land. I mean,
Sure,
building a school on it is a long-term goal, but that's pretty far out. But I mean, like right now, if you got the land, you could do something, some kind of community farming project or a community garden or something like that could be actually really neat, you
sure.
know?
So we'll get to that.
Okay.
I do believe we'll get to that, and we will have extraordinary discussion on that because we planning to get out of time with our phones and that of the camera we have, and then do some documentaries on the land
Right.
and reach out to other old people, see children of my age, they are married, you see them breastfeeding. So you found those teenagers giving birth to a baby. So you can
Mm-hmm.
see what we are talking about in Liberia when it comes to the poverty ratio.
Right.
So it's what we want to move to the land and then do documentaries.
Okay.
So all of these things that we are doing, we are being somehow skeptical
Mm-hmm.
because we have to work and then meet up with our obligation.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
get back to what I was saying, right?
Okay.
So when I started it and then recruited many of my classmates, many of them, they decided to go away because there were no money and they wanted instant reward.
You mean leave Liberia or just leave
Sure.
Monrovia?
Yeah, in Monrovia at that time because it's Monrovia I was sleeping on the street.
Okay.
So a man which is now Joseph Pius Leo was
Okay.
accidentally able to get in contact with me. He
Okay.
always used to admire me, what I was doing, teaching the kids, and then he used to say, "You the boy who gave you such idea
Now,
to
how
do
old were
so."
you now when you met Joseph?
I was around like 16 to 17 years old.
Okay, so
So
that
I
was
embraced it
only like 3 years ago, right?
sure.
Excuse me, I'm starting to cough. I'm just gonna
And,
run.
and
I'm gonna grab a tiny thing of water so I don't cough. Keep coughing. I'll be right back.
okay.
Sorry
So
about that.
at that time, this is me. Can you see me?
Yeah.
At that time, I was 16 years old.
Okay.
So I used to rush from school and then change my uniform, take crayons, organize the kids, and then hold the crayons and see how best I can tutor them. You see,
Okay.
and and when I got in touch with Joseph, here is Joseph. Can you see?
Yep. Is that you next to him?
No, this is Joseph, and this is one of the kids.
Okay, I thought, yeah, because that kid looked little.
So
All right.
he had a cane in his hand. He came, he met me there. He always used to let me. This is under the mango tree. That is
Yeah.
where I started this. So he came and then he
So
always
the
used to sit with
significance of
me.
Under the Mango Tree is we have our song that
Sure,
Joseph created. The same guy
absolutely,
created this song.
sure.
Sorry. Okay.
So what happened is that Joseph too will come and then see how best he can take the curls, try to help me, and then tell me this is how you should do this, this is how you should do this. So Joseph become me the second member of this institution. At that time, I already had a document from government of Liberia. I was lucky to come across Francis Koshi on Facebook, who was my high school friend in Liberia at that time.
Right.
And I decided to sell my ideas with him. He sees some of my work. He said, "Brother, I like what you're doing in our country. And how can I be the part?" You understand? Holistically speaking. So I said, "Brother, I would need people like you on board who are over there because you know my situation. If you will come in to help me, I will highly appreciate it. Not just me, but for the case. You understand?" So Francis said, "Oh man, I'm busy back here, but I will see whether I can make myself available to be able to be a part of you people."
Oh, so
One way,
so this by this time Francis was in the USA,
by the
right?
time he was in the USA, he
So
was,
when you
he was
met him, but you met him when he still lived in Liberia, right?
We were friends in Liberia, but we was not close. We
Oh,
were
okay.
just
So
keeping
when you
them out.
approached, so by the time you approached him again about Gabanja, he was already in the USA?
He was already in the USA.
Okay, I
And
get
I
it.
did
Yeah,
not
yeah.
approach him in Liberia when he was here. You
Okay, I
understand?
see. Yeah.
But we was in the same school anyway. And his mother was in the United States. He used to send support down for him.
Right, because he's
So
been living in the US now for, I believe, 8 years, 6 or 8 years. Is that right?
absolutely, I'm not ready to know about them, but
Yeah, quite a bit of
that's the
time.
reason. Because
Yeah,
Francis always needs to be looking good among us whenever he comes on campus. He got a laptop. But we
right.
don't have all of these things. We don't jealous him, right? Because we know our background, what we hail from. So all we could do is
Yeah,
to just make friends. But
yeah.
because of comfort spirit, we were out proud. And we later on see Francis was not in school for months. So that's how we lost Francis. But when I came across him on Facebook, he
Oh,
sent me
okay.
the friend request. He sent me the friend request and I confirmed it and we need to talk. You understand?
By
Tell him
Facebook
about what
message.
I've been.
Yeah,
Sure. And he
yeah.
told me that, brother, I'm based in the United States here, man. Because I won't be able to give you people my time. I won't be able to say, okay, brother, no problem. But if you can just help us to register this. Our concern in Africa was for Francis to help us register this institution in America.
Right. So he created a corporation in the
Absolutely.
U.S. And actually, there's a fair amount of work that goes into that, all that paperwork and everything. So
Sure.
there's a lot to it.
Sure. So
Especially, I know I don't believe, did he create an actual nonprofit? I don't think he did. It was just a
uh,
corporation.
yeah, well, just a corporation. He's the
Yeah.
source corporation.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, because if a nonprofit has to have a board of directors, and there's a whole lot more paperwork you got to fill out to do a nonprofit. I know that because
Sure.
I set up the Octava Chamber Orchestra, which is a
Oh,
nonprofit organization now, and there was quite a bit to it. Anyway,
okay.
okay, sorry, I don't want to get you off track again.
Okay. No problem, no comment. So that's how Francis said he registered this institution.
Okay.
So when we tested for the documentation, what he sent us was now in line with a non-profit organization. But we decided to work with him.
Hmm.
All of our work, when we do it, he said you need a photo documentary, and then I will upload them, you take it and then share on Instagram page.
Right.
So he uses this work, and then he was able to get out there to meet many donors. You understand? But all
Right,
of
and
these
he helped you
donors,
create the. Also, Francis helped you create the website, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So when you meet many donors, but we don't benefit anything since 2020.
Hmm.
We registered this institution 2020, December 23rd in the United States.
So
So
it's
all
about.
we,
So that would be maybe a year and a half, a little less than a
yes,
year and a half.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
He was always coming,
2020.
Emmanuel,
Yeah.
in the United States here, we don't just get donors like that. And here we don't volunteer people, we pay people back here. So Joseph will
Right.
come in the town. You pay volunteers in the United States, and these volunteers back here sacrificing their time, they dedicating their time and working in order to see this dream live. So
Yeah,
Francis will
yes
say,
and no.
no,
I mean, there's lots of people in the US that will volunteer their time
okay,
for various things, but they won't volunteer their entire, like, they won't quit their job to
okay,
volunteer full time unless they're independently wealthy or something. But there's lots of people that, are willing to spend some
sure,
time volunteering for their church or for like some kind of charitable organization or something like that. Even for politics, if
sure,
they really believe in their political party, they can put in a lot of time to support,
sure,
what they believe in. And so, I mean, people do that. So,
sure.
but also, it is
So,
also true that
yeah,
when people devote all their time for whatever thing it is, they do need to get
sure,
paid so that they can
absolutely,
survive and and eat and so on.
Absolutely.
Like if you go to a
Absolutely.
church, my church, the pastor at my church gets paid, the church secretary gets
Okay.
paid, the people who clean the church
Okay.
get paid, you know, so stuff like that. Even a
But
lot of
it
churches, the
doesn't work
musicians
like
get
that.
paid. Yeah.
It doesn't work like that in Africa, Uncle Mark. So for us, we from the less privileged background, close the door, Jenna. So for us, we from the less privileged background,
Hmm.
we decided to see how best, leave from here. Sorry, we decided to see how best we can be able to change the narrative.
Hmm.
So Francis was able to meet up with a guy from Africa too called Mohamedi, which is the website developer. And
Hmm.
I'm anticipating seeing how best I can bring in on the Pranakasha production to have another Gabanja updates with him. You understand? So let me go out. Oh, sorry, the case I
Okay.
give me out time. Let me go out until I can finish. Sorry, the case I give me out time.
That's okay.
Immediately I don't with this, we will see how best to bring Mohamedi on board.
Hmm.
So Mohamedi was the guy who helped to develop the website.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he felt inspired based on my age and doing social work. Francis older than me 3 years. I'm 19 years of age. I was born August 27. So with all that, Francis never needs to make us to look good before people that we should get any kind of money. But all
Hmm.
he believes that volunteers don't benefit anything.
Hmm.
Everything these guys do should just be volunteer. So we never had problem with him. We go about doing our normal work.
Hmm.
But later on, we try to tarnish our reputation and drain down our dream, which of course God would not
As
let.
we know, there was some at some point the
Sure,
your vision of Gabanja and Francis's vision of Gabanja started to diverge,
sure.
and ultimately it split apart. And now Francis isn't part of it anymore. But
Sure. So what happened is that we start to move in Liberia,
right.
meeting other people, and then talking to people. People start to give money because of my story. So
Hmm.
people give me rice. So people give me clothes to
Right.
wear.
Right.
I started reaching out. You understand? So many people start to bring forth their children
Hmm.
because they need the people to help them. And my one couldn't teach everybody. So Prince Abaika, which Mr. Leo came and then met him, Omega Stevens, they all joined me to start the teaching of this case.
Hmm.
See them? This is them. These are the two men.
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
joined me to start the teaching of this case. And then we work together. We see how best the case are happy together. So you always see these guys around whenever the case around.
Hmm.
So when I started this, I was free-handed with the case back then, the peppermint, because many people, when they got to know my story, they start to give money. When my
Hmm.
grandmom came to town, the little money she had, she decided to invest it in me. She
Great.
said, oh, use this money and then see how best to add at least a little value to your organization so you can be able to use it as a source of means to benefit many people, reach
Hmm.
out to the blind. You know, that's part my great mom is poor, but she got hard to help the less privileged.
Right.
This is the reason she decided to give almost all of her properties to us
Right.
so that Gabanja can have access to them.
Yeah. Your grandma believes in you, obviously,
Sure,
because she's
sure,
witnessed. I mean, she's witnessed you grow up, right?
sure,
So she knows
sure,
what she knows what you're all about, and
sure.
what
She
you.
really believes that.
That's great.
So the program director today that Gabanja had, Alexander Nefatula, Mr. Joseph Pius Leo, Sensor B Togwe, and the rest of the staff. I'm not paying them a penny,
Right.
but these guys believe in what I've bring forth.
Right.
to the world. So they believe that one day things going to change.
Right.
If things can change, that I'm no longer sleeping on the principal street today. If things can change, that today I'm not begging for food anymore, but God can bless people. God can bless me now, able to afford and eat food, which means things is going to change for this institution to help many people
Right.
in the world.
Right.
So this is the reason you find them around. So whatever I'm going contrary, like what I did by even going on your channel, doing things, you know, these are things that really drive me crazy because of the passion I got to help people.
Right.
So sometimes I will say, oh, Kumar, this, and then I keep writing, doing all kinds of things. You know, I can feel so high embarrassed on Kumar
Yeah.
because of poverty.
Yeah.
So when the blood
We
man,
don't
I
we
read
don't have to
it
get
down.
into that too much. At least
Oh,
not on this
that's
show.
what
Yeah.
happened, Kumar. So all of these
Yeah.
things, it burned my passion. So
Right. You're
when
a
I
very passionate person, and you're very charismatic, and you have a very powerful story to tell.
sure,
So, yeah, that's the most important part, right?
again. Yes.
Yeah.
So even I and Rodrigo just started communicating again after he left me because he never made of their obligation to do the school project. But
Yeah.
because of our persistency, so he messaged me. I and
Great.
him now we start to communicate. Yes.
With Rodrigo, because I've
Yeah,
met him.
Rodrigo. Yes.
He was here on a show quite a while ago. Good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I and Rodrigo, we are now became friends again. Despite Rodrigo is not giving us money, but
Great.
at least his level of advances, you know, Okumat, I highly
Okay,
appreciate.
I think you probably should say that. Okay, there was quite a bit of stuff going on behind the scenes in the past several
Yeah,
weeks that I was involved in directly too,
sure.
and so the biggest thing, of course, is that Francis left the organization, but also there were several things that I did not think were right either. So,
Okay.
but the good thing is, after we stopped arguing and doing all our dramas, then everyone went back together and did a pretty major restructuring of the organization.
Sure, they did extremely
So
well.
now we have people like Joseph and others.
Alexander
Alexander,
Wooch
right?
is now the president
Alexander.
director. Yeah. He's really
Uh,
working out things.
right. So we've got
He's
these.
really working.
We've got these more mature, more level-headed folks that have, some of them have
Sure,
been your guides and your mentors. We have them
sure,
now in positions of authority within the organization, right?
sure,
So now
sure.
that helps things a lot, I think,
Absolutely,
because you
absolutely.
have the raw
So now,
inspiration and the story to
sure.
tell and all that energy, but you're also a little young and you've done a couple
Absolutely.
really stupid things, in my opinion.
I know.
But at least you're
I
willing to
know.
accept that and say, hey, can I please learn? Give me another chance. And so I'm like, okay. So
Sure.
so as long as we have these other more level-headed people involved that can kind of
Sure.
point it out when you've gone a little too far in one way or
Yes.
another, then that I
Sure.
think we're going to be okay.
Yes. So now what's going on is
Is
that
that a good assessment? Would you say that's
yeah.
pretty close to what happened? Yeah.
See, so
Okay.
now you know what's going on right now, Okumaj?
Yeah.
They don't give the chance to do anything without the approval of them.
Good.
So before
Right.
I do anything, before I take any step,
We lost him. I heard a buzz. I think his phone buzzed, and that's why we lost the video feed. Hopefully it'll come back soon. And it's attempting to join.
see me?
Okay, I see you.
Okay, yeah, I lost you because I was using data and
Yeah, I heard it
system.
buzzing.
So I turned on my
Yeah,
okay.
that's okay.
So
Anyways,
as I've been saying,
we should probably wrap it up pretty soon too. Maybe we can, because we've been going for about an hour.
sure. So as I was saying, so right now, every little thing I do within this institution, I have to tell them first, and then They work with the board right now. And all these people, they are family people. They got their children, they got their women. So they are
Right.
both mature and they are there now to direct me in the rightful path.
Right.
So I understand there have been a lot of lapses. They're saying that they want to vet Rodrigo. If Rodrigo want to come in, Rodrigo should come in by sending in the application. Or I Rodrigo can just be the friend on Facebook. But
Great.
this newly structured institution now be active and to do the work of people. So they will not need people to come in and then who will come and then later on wrap it up.
Right.
So
And
they
so
need
here's
people
what
to
I
be
see.
persistent.
This is what I
Yes.
sort of see. I think it's really good to have those guys in charge of the institution. And then I think right now you're
Sure.
technically the secretary, right? Isn't that your position,
Yes,
secretary or
I
something?
am the secretary to the board.
But to tell you the
Yes,
truth,
I
I mean,
am.
it seems like the obvious thing to have you be is like the ambassador. Because like you're the guy who likes to go out and talk to people
Okay.
and spread the word and do all those types of things, right? So I think, I
Okay.
mean, that would be, to me, that seems the obvious thing to do is like you're the one who goes out and meets the people, has the general ideas, and then has all the energy and the enthusiasm. And then you bring that back to the organization and those guys kind of check it out and try to figure out, what's going on and figure out how to actually do some of the
Sure.
details and things like that. That would make sense to
Sure.
me,
Sure.
in my opinion.
That's why the start off. But right now, this is just an interim leadership for me.
Hmm.
So we are thinking of that so that we can have someone as the secretary to the board, which means I won't be a part of the board. So before this month end, that going to be worked out. Because
Okay,
today they
good.
even emphasize on that I should relinquish the position. You understand? So
Yeah, okay.
Joseph was talking about me being the ambassador to get out, reach people, talk to people, and bring more donors in. You understand?
Exactly.
Like what
Because
we
that's
thought
your
Francis
talent.
could be.
That's your
So that's
talent.
what they are thinking of, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure, sure, sure. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to be leaving. I'll be relinquishing power and I'm going to inform you. So right now, the website is okay. When people want to
Great.
email us, the email it goes straightly to the program director, and then he respond. I think he even sent you the mail about the kids' school fees being paid, right?
Hmm.
So he's doing over all of that right now. So I'll
Great.
be relinquishing the secretary position. We needed a female, so at least to balance the gender equality. But the reason we don't
Oh,
have many female because in Liberia, females to find an educated female is difficult.
okay.
It's very, very difficult. The males, some of them are opportune to go to school and learn,
Okay.
but the female, it is not in their case.
Okay.
They get men and get pregnant. So that have been my story. I'm grateful to God that I still get you people around that will be able to nurture me and then to see the best coming up. But this is my promise to the world. I really committed that I would never change. I will remain who I am to see how best I can make sure the people see the right thing being done. So
Hmm.
whatever funds that is being sent should be implemented the rightful way.
Right.
This is the reason I funded this institution. I've
Great.
suffered a lot. I've been through a long road, and there are many people who that are suffering like me, who that have suffered like me, needs
Right.
to be liberated. So I pray to God Almighty for long life, and I will assure you all that things going to work out for everybody. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Uncle Matt, for
Thank
affording me
you.
the time today to come out here and explain the language.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
So
Emmanuel. We'll
God
see you
bless.
next time. Take
God
care.
bless.
God bless.
Pranakasha Production. Fantastic creations emerging spontaneously from the space of life.
for the benefit of all beings everywhere.
We get it.